In this video, we are going to see how do you find out the total cost of a tractor, including the interest that you pay, by using arithmetic progression. Now, what happens is that many times you purchase an asset, okay? Let's say you buy it for 100. Out of this 100, you pay some amount to the seller in the beginning, let's say 50 rupees, which is known as down payment. Okay, once you've paid this amount, the balance the seller has to be paid, and the seller says, okay, if you can't pay me the entire amount right now, why don't you do one thing? You keep on paying me in equal installments. So let's say if it is 50 rupees, pay me 5 installments of 10 rupees each every year. But what I will do is, if I would have got this money, I would have invested this somewhere else and I would have got interest on that. Now I am allowing you to take this money, so I'm not getting this interest. So what I will do is, on this money that you pay me late, you keep on paying me interest depending on how much is payable. So let's say if rupees 50 is payable, you pay me interest on 50. If let's say out of 50 you paid me 10, then only 40 remains. So you pay me interest on 40 and so on. What this question seeks to do is, it tells you in such a case, how do you find out what is the total cost of the tractor to the buyer? And obviously, total cost is going to include the cost of purchase as well as the amount of interest which is paid. So cost of purchase is paid in either down payment or installments, but it is always equal to the initial amount. But what is the interest that has been paid is something we need to calculate. Let us look at this question in this slide. A farmer buys a used tractor. Used tractor means it's an old tractor for rupees 12,000. So the cost of the tractor in this case is rupees 12,000. He pays rupees 6,000. Okay, so the down payment that I told you is equal to 6,000 and agrees to pay the balance. So how much is the balance which is left? The total amount is 12,000. 6,000 I have paid. So the balance is nothing but 12,000 minus 6,000, what I have initially paid, or in other words, 6,000 rupees is what I have to pay to the person. And what is the payment plan? To pay the balance in annual installments of 500. Okay, so he's agreed he's going to pay 6,000 rupees in 500 rupee installment. So how many installments would he pay? How many installments did he pay? He is going to pay 6,000 rupees, and every time he pays 500, which means he is going to make a payment over a period of 12 years. Why? Because the installments are annual. Plus 12% interest on the unpaid amount. These things are to be noted, because many times what will happen is you may be asked that you have to pay a fixed interest. How much will the tractor cost him? Like I told you, the cost of the tractor is going to be the initial amount, okay, plus the interest that you pay. So if I talk to you about the interest for year 1, what is the interest that he has to pay? He has to pay interest on 6,000 because this is the money which he is using, right? And how much interest is to be paid? 12% per annum. So into 12 divided by 100. This basically will give you rupees 720, right? Now interest for the second year, how much will that be? Now at the end of the first year, he had to pay 6,000, but he would have paid 500 by way of principal, which is given to you over here. So at the end of the year, what he has to pay is 5,500. This is the unpaid amount. Because you have to pay interest on the unpaid amount, we will calculate interest on 5,500. So 5,500 into 12 by 100, right? These two knocked off. 12 fives are 60, 0, 6 carry, 660. What will be the interest for the third year? Now 5,500, again he pays 500, right? So how much is left? 5,000. So 5,000 into 12 by 100, right? This gives you 600. Now if you notice these interest payments, they are actually in an arithmetic progression where the first term is A, and if you find out the difference between the second and first is how much? 660 minus 720 minus 60. 600 minus 660 minus 60. Right? So in other words, your common difference is minus 60. Please note I have subtracted 720 from 660 and not vice versa. If you do that, your answer becomes wrong. Okay, so I know A, I know D. How many installments he has to pay? He has to pay 12 installments. So I also know N. Can I find out the sum of this arithmetic progression? And the sum is going to give me the amount of interest. So let me just clear some space. So sum is equal to N by 2, 2A plus N minus 1 D. My N is equal to 12 divided by 2. 2A, how much is A? A is 720, so 720 into 2 gives me 1440 plus N minus 1. N is 12, minus 1 gives you 11. 11 times D, how much is D? D is minus 60, so this will be minus 660, right? Or in other words, 6 times 1440 minus 660, or which is 0, 14 minus 6, 8, 13 minus 6, 7. Rupees 4680. So this is the amount of interest that I am paying. But what do I need to find out in the question? How much will the tractor cost him? The cost of the tractor is equal to the original payment plus interest. Right? Original payment was 12,000 plus 4680 is equal to 16,680, and this is the total cost of the tractor for him. If you like this video, you can subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button at the bottom of this video. Thank you for being with us today.